About now.
Okay, it just started. Second pod
No, I can't hear
on the
you.
books. You can't hear me right now? Can you hear me on the mic? Oh,
Hello, hello.
I can hear you. I got you. Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me?
just can't hear you. What about now?
Hello? 1 2 1 2.
And do I need to just get like speakers to plug in? What do I have the wrong mic?
Unplug your mic. Unplug your mic. Your mic, unplug.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
So remember last time your mic we had to unplug.
yeah,
So we got to figure that out maybe for the third pod.
yeah. For sure.
I
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. I can hear you really well though. Both ways
Okay, good.
sounds pretty much same fidelity, etc. Although it would be nice if you could hold a mic like I do, because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, let me get a good background going on. So what's going on, dude?
Can you see my background?
Yeah, I like it.
What's?
America.
Oh, you can't see it. It says America.
No, I can. I can see it.
The underneath America it says we will murder you on Christmas Eve. So I didn't know this. So this is actually kind of cool for the pod to talk about. Oh, that was fun. Which is that when they crossed the Delaware on Christmas Eve, do you know who they were attacking?
Dude,
It was the Hessian mercenaries from Germany. And these Hessians, I didn't even realize this till recently. These motherfuckers would cut off the faces of their of the people on the battlefield, like who I don't know, maybe little kids too, hopefully not. However, these
I
Hessians
mean,
fucking savages, dude. Like great, like the British soldiers were like, we don't know how to deal with these motherfuckers, and they would go into to battle and like fight Americans or whatever, and do just crazy shit. Like apparently that was a thing that they would cut off.
the literal faces of people.
Yeah, Americans, like the
Um,
Revolutionary War, dude. And so this scene here is when America was like, actually, fuck you, almost reminiscent of these cartels on the border right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had enough fun, boys. It's time to actually, 1776, you the fuck out. You know what I mean? If you're not 1776 and get the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Get the fuck out.
We don't want people that want to be in America, not you. Fuck you. We want
Yeah.
people that want to be American.
Well, I want to contribute, you know?
Right. And you can have your like Indian, whatever that sauce is you guys like. But, Bill of Rights, we hear freedom of speech, you know what I mean? Freedom of religion, freedom of association, you know what I mean? All the things that make America America. Like, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can
to make
take a
it.
little flavor to it. I love that. The flavor is where it all happens. But
Yeah, and I mean, we are a nation of immigrants originally, you know.
I don't know if that's the whole story.
Well,
Immigrants, settlers, colonists, um,
yeah.
it wasn't migrants searching
Oh,
for
yeah.
government handouts in a land far, far away. It
Well,
was
that's not what I was saying.
no, and I know. I'm just we're just kind of getting at it.
Ooh, how do you like that? What about that background?
Oh yeah, that's a nice leafy kind of like full,
It's a it's
oh,
a hop a hop a hop plant that I grew.
hmm. What was his name? Her name.
Humulus lupulus.
That's how I felt when the Bills lost. I'll tell you that. I was throwing for a little lupulus.
A little lupulus. You remember
Oh,
you remember this dog?
dude,
Riker.
I
That
fuck
was
And
That
then
was the
Riker was kind of like, I love your dog right now, but Riker was kind of the OG dude. He was kind of the dog who actually like looked me in the eyes and kind of like felt my pain. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, Riker was the fucking best dog I've ever had.
I mean, let's have a moment to talk about. No, fuck, no, not this stuff. No, shit, dude. The stuff of nightmares. This fucker. Holy shit.
Are we Okay, yeah. Tell me about Abby.
I don't know much about Abby other than what part of hell she came from. The one time that Abby never liked me, and for good reason, whatever it was.
She didn't like many people.
Yeah, I'm sure she had a good reason, but that dog, that does not represent the scariness of what that dog wants to be scared.
She was
Holy shit. I had staples put into my head because the crazy story we don't need to get into right now. But anyway, I pulled the staples out when I was working at Warco Pump, and I just had a dude cut them and pull them out at the shop. We left a little piece in there. And so like it was a year later, I'm staying at your house and I have this little spot on the back of my head where there's a little lump, there's something in there. And I wake up in the middle of we partied hard, dude. Man, I used to party.
Like we did.
And I don't know, I feel like I'm talking too much, but that dog, I woke up and she was chewing on the back of my head.
She was just licking your wound. She was
licking, kind of biting. Not it was a loving bite.
She liked you. She liked you.
She was chewing on my head when I looked. That's what I experienced. You know what I mean? And I should give her more grace, whatever.
No, she was a gnarly dog, dude.
Holy shit.
Dude,
that's a big jaw. You know what I mean? That's a pit.
I had her she was a Doberman Pinscher boxer mix. And I had her as the junkyard dog at Bright Agrotech, and I kept her on that like 1-inch chain because I didn't want people showing up at my greenhouses anymore. And I just told Nate and Paul, and I was like, I'm just putting a big fucking dog up there. And so I put like a 30-foot chain at the front. And you remember this. And then we just threw her all of our carcasses from the animals that we killed. So we boned them all out. And dude, by the end of it, she just had a pile. I mean, I'm not joking. She had like 100 bones just piled up by her doghouse.
That was the first time I met Abby was in the boneyard, dude. You know what I mean? And she's out there. She's got a fucking bone the size of my femur, putting it over there, giving me like, you might be next, dude.
I'm gonna get another junkyard dog, like, because sometimes there's dogs that like the only life that they're gonna get is like living on a property chained up and maintained by a person every day because they're dangerous dogs. And like Abby was probably a dangerous dog. I mean, that's why I had to kill her, like she was a dangerous dog. Like I had a shitty incident with her, which I don't think she really bit the guy, but it's a liability. It's a liability.
Hopped up on some potentially.
Yeah, well, we don't need to go into the dynamics of it. But
minutia, we don't know minutia.
The fact is that I had a dog that I got sued over who now has a fucking reputation. I mean, she's got a sheep, a rat, and you have to, the responsible thing was to put that dog down, and she had the best life that she could have had,
I honestly and I want to say, man, like you've always been just kind of like me on this, but like you've pronounced it in ways that were different than me, but caring for creatures such as an Abby that were good, but in bad circumstance where you kind of helped them out. And like, that's a really good thing, man. And that's, the loss and the bad circumstance, but that you said it best just a second ago, the best life ever kind of thing.
Oh yeah, dude.
Of what you gave her,
I've lost, let's see. Abby, Riker, Ender, and Bruce. I mean, that's a lot. Like 4 dogs is a lot, I think, at 38. And like it's always like, I think I said this the other night, like, when I look at my dogs that I've lost, I like, and I had bad times with them, like they'd run away, they'd chew my shit up, like they were difficult, but like all I remember when I see pictures of them or think of them is just like how much fun I had with them, like how much they loved me, like I don't see any of the bad, even though sometimes I'll be like, oh, that Bruce, he was a little shithead, but like that was why, that was why he was awesome. But like,
Well, you said you lost a lot of dogs, but how old are you in dog years?
I don't know. How old am I in dog years?
You're fucking up there.
Bruce?
There's some dynasties of dogs in dog years. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
quota in there. I'm fucking holy shit, dude. I'm the oldest dog in
You're
this
the,
in this kennel.
the oldest dog. What else do I got here? What other backgrounds do I got?
Backgrounds almost as like a patina to your life, like what is your background right now? Just what's your psychic background? Noah walks out the door. There's a fucking energy level that you're bringing. That's the background. You've been painting on it, right? Deliberately been putting things on the background. You
Trying to.
talk a little bit about that, like what like it starts
So
out with a
today, so
plan of
yeah,
annihilation, which is the soul.
yeah. So today was a tough day for me. Like, and I'm taking this medication and stuff, and even with that, like, it was just a tough day. Like, I had like I just a lot of a lot of just a lot of stuff, breakdowns. And then I started listening to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People a little bit.
Sell me on this because I'm kind of bored.
And I only took the first thing from it. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see what the first habit is. And it was be productive in whatever you're doing. And so I'm like, okay. I'm going I'm
gonna murder all these people.
well, I'm going an hour at a time right now, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be productive in that hour. So I was productive at work. I've been productive in the morning around my house. Like I've been doing, maybe it's only 50% of like doing my dishes, but I've been doing my dishes and cleaning my kitchen. Like there's been a lot of my life where I just have not been productive, and like that's a good habit to get into. Is just like no matter what you're doing, being productive, just like we're being productive right now, doing this little podcast, just talking about it. Like this is productive for me, And so that's what I took from it. That was what I walked out of the door with today. And it got me through for sure. That and a good guess that I didn't realize was a big boy medication.
Yeah, I don't know. It was cool that we got to sort of, through sort of, Rock's mind on other continents, then talk at the speed of now, like you walking me through fixing a boiler. That was cool.
Oh yeah. Well, like
we did that now, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's what we need to just keep doing. Like all this stuff we're doing, like I want to call you on like when I'm doing stuff in my house and be like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And like so with these boilers and stuff, one of the things you could add to your repertoire is like you're smart enough to understand a sequence of operations. And if you pick up the manual of any equipment that you're working on, you go and look at a furnace or a boiler or whatever, and you find that actual manual and there's like 13 manuals, but you want to find
I love this, Brett. This is great.
Yeah, you want to find the maintenance and the service manual, and then in that manual, it's going to give you the sequence of operations. And then through the sequence of operations, then you can diagnose it and you can tell what's wrong. I mean, it's really kind of simple.
So it's an order of operations.
What?
It's an order of operations.
Yeah, that's all a piece of equipment is. It's power, it's like it's A to Z. So like
I was just going to expand. Like, you're kind of looking for your manual, right?
my what?
Your manual. What's the fucking error code that you're going through right now?
The
And how do you then order of operations walk through to that, you know, solution or resolution, rather?
yeah, oh yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
and that's life kind of in general. No matter like whatever the situation is like what's the error code and how do we get to that spot, like the order of operations? Like, so be kind of logical about it. Like, don't be too crazy about like, oh, freak out.
Well, that's where like the mindfulness comes in and being like, okay, here's the issue. Don't freak out either way. Like, figure out how you can fix the issue and then like respond accordingly. And if you have to respond emotionally, respond emotionally, but it's probably better to respond with like a rational mind or like, you know, the wise mind, that you have the mixture of the rational, the emotion, you know, and that takes like, you know, one of the things that one of my old bosses that hired me here used to tell us was like, if you get overwhelmed when you're diagnosing one of these really big systems and you're freaked out, step back and count to 10. And I'm like, okay.
Well,
And
let's do that right now.
yeah, okay.
1, and then you go 2. So go. So I guess I'd be 3.
4,
5,
6,
7.
8.
Oh, 9. No.
Oh, 10. I had a therapist do that with me and talk me out of a fucking panic attack one time. It was great, but I could hardly understand her because she was Vietnamese and I couldn't continue using
Oh,
it.
boy, I do not understand you.
She was great.
Please tell me about your brain.
She was great, but there was just a communication barrier, you know. Like she can't have that. Can't have that in therapy. I got to be able to.
Oh no, me make you feel unconditionally hurt all time.
Yeah, she was great.
You know, I love that. Like that's, and I've thought about this, and we've talked about this too. There's aspects of people's lives that they can achieve sort of the same end, but through different means. You know, and like the therapy route, I don't know, man. It's actually the rapist therapist.
I'll take the rapist for 300.
I talk to my dog. You know what I mean?
That's the therapist.
If after talking to my dog, she's not scared, it was a good session. You know what I mean?
So there's a lot to be said for talk therapy, man. Like, but it's not the only solution, and it's not like for some people, it's like, yeah, it can help them get through. But like some people like me, like I need to use all of the things. But like talk therapy for me is really huge because you know me. I mean, I talk a lot, and honestly, the reason I choose female physicians and female therapists is because I have some trauma with, you know, some of the females in my life, and I want to like have the perspective of other females, like as
What do you mean by that? Like, what is a woman?
professionals. Do what?
What is a woman? You know, like what do you mean?
Oh, we're not gonna get in that. We're not gonna start. Yeah,
I just think it's like an interesting pivot point because there's something about that.
it's the opposite.
Resonates
Yeah,
with you kind of like right in like a visceral way.
yeah. Men and women are different, but we're similar, and like you have to have both perspectives if you want to like navigate life and have good relationships, and that's what I want. You know, I want good relationships with men and women, and I have since my divorce. I've told you this. I've really put off having any type of like relationships with women, and then I started having
as you should, kind of get back to where Noah is,
No. Like I'm talking about like platonic relationships, like there's a few of them, but like I just don't trust anybody. And then I jumped into trying to date, without like remembering what it's like to be their friend first. And so it's all just about like perspective, man. And you like
That's an interesting thing you just said, though.
you
Don't you
have to you have to
don't
figure.
you think any good relationship is kind of starts with being good? Like, the friend thing to me means, um, we could play a shitty game, something that's not the most exciting. I like backgammon, but it's not the most exciting game. But if you play with the right person or cribbage, you have the most fun. And
Yeah.
there's where sort of like chemistry is developed when you have that rapport. So like, wouldn't you say like just in general, good friends, good relationships, that's almost kind of core, like that kind of like that, I toss the ball to you and you're like, haha, catch this one, kind of playful,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
it's like you got to have that. And like, I mean, with my last paramour, like we would do
good word.
trivia, trivia, and that was a great that. And early on, dude, we had a great and we've been friends for a long time. Like we had a good friendship, but we let our trauma, uh, we let our trauma overtake that. But like, yeah, we would do like, dude, like fucking trivia or like Family Feud, and that shit was fun. We'd watch TV and play Family Feud all night, and it would you'd learn new things about each other, and like you gotta put in the effort, and I realized that with like the girl before her is that like I didn't
What
even try to be her friend. I was
what
just like, I want you to be in my life always, and like the all those things.
what's the effort?
I
Like
mean,
lock in on that, you know what I mean? Like what does that mean? Like down to like not too crazy, but what does that mean?
I mean, it's different for everybody, right? But like you have to put
In every relationship too, right?
yeah, but you have to put an effort in, and whatever the definition, the Merriam-Webster definition of an effort, but like there's a lot of people that don't. It's a give and take, right? And there's a lot of people that don't pull their weight, you know. So that's the effort.
I
But
still am confused about what you mean. Just don't go marry. What do you mean? Say in a relationship, me and you just met. Hey, how are you? That's great. Oh, connection somewhere. We start to hook up, maybe. I feel like hookups fast forward relationships in maybe positive ways, but also maybe super negative ways because the effort of creating the rapport um, is not as powerful
yeah,
as
well, what's a hookup to you? Are you talking about meeting a girl and then like sleeping with her the first time you meet her? Or is that like a hook? Is that your hookup?
no, no, no. I mean,
What's the
maybe. No. What I mean though is like the effort is like what are the core skills? It's like being able to understand who the other person is, which is kind of hard because like, do you
that that
understand
that
yourself?
takes that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of time. I mean, that's what a relationship is like you have to learn that person.
You'll never really learn them, right?
I mean, you'll learn them the best that they'll allow you.
Well, I think that's fair, but I also think like maybe where you're coming from, at that time, and like how do you get stasis so that you're kind of building that? I don't know, man. This is a little rabbit hole, but I thought it was interesting to think about just like, you know, putting out like the general plan, but like it is hard to execute, it really
Yeah.
it requires like maybe going outside of your comfort zone a little bit.
Well, I mean, it starts with the person in the mirror, really, and like coming up with a plan. If you don't have a good routine, you don't have good self-image, you don't have like a plan to progress forward, you're just gonna spin your wheels. It's being stuck, just like being stuck in the snow, high centered. If you don't have a plan, you're just gonna sit there and keep going.
So my plan, snow, and it's worked, and this plan is get some tree limbs, get some
It's a what?
some tree limbs, get some sticks, start digging out where you got to be, and then start wedging in the tree limbs so that your wheels have a base on the snow to move on, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So a relationship is like, what is the thing that we're stuck on, and how do we get a grip on it so that we can move forward to get, you know what I mean? It does
You-
take.
Yeah, you know what to know. You know what I do if I was stuck in that? Stop. So I keep 4 chains in my truck and a big shovel, and if I'm high centered like that, I dig my truck out and I chain it up, and then I fucking roar out of there. And that's like my preparation, and that's like how I'm trying to equate it to like my next good relationship is that like I want to have everything in my truck ready to go that I need to get out of any situation. I don't want to have to go out and find it in the woods, you know, like, and I'm there. I mean, I'm there like figuratively, like how I hunt. Like I mean, I don't like, I don't get stuck, and if I do, I have everything in my truck that I need. But that's kind of how the analogy I'm looking at. It's like
I love that, and I think that is fucking on point. But have you ever done the tree limb?
oh yeah, yeah. When I haven't had chains or shovels, yeah, I've cut up.
No, the tree limb, like even with chains, if you're deep enough snow, you gotta get some kind of a base layer, in my humble opinion. It's
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always been able to get out with 4 chains and a big shovel, but I
right.
have used tree limbs. But
Yeah.
that's been more in mud. I used to do it with my Tahoe, and I never kept anything with my Tahoe. And I would I would use sagebrush down south a lot, cut up sagebrush and use it. But yeah, tree limbs are the shit. But what happens when you're in a spot and there's no trees? you know?
So I got stuck. This is you ever talk to Finley, little nephew, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know Finley.
Have you ever heard of this child named Finley? Oh, dude, one of the coolest little people. We get stuck, me and him, homies that like to roam, dude. Me and him, we're dogs, dude. We gotta run, So one day, me and him are the only two that go, and we go the whole gorge. We go what would that be? East side, south, and then come around all the way back out and then come out to Green River on the west side of the gorge, that kind of route.
Yep.
There, man, I've been there many times. I have like a pretty capable vehicle, FJ. It's got the rear diff lock. Like I've driven it so many different places that like I feel it's like an extension of me in a lot of, you know what I mean? I can feel when we're just throwing sand versus traction, when we're sliding, like how to adjust, and that frame on that car is small enough that you can kind of like, you get like
it's built for that shit.
Oh yeah, it's great. And we didn't have any tree limb. We got stuck in this area in the gorge where it was like, oh man, there was rocks under sand. And then we got to this spot where we just got kind of sunk in a little bit of sand, a little too much sand. And there's not a lot of tree limbs around. And Finn at the time is like, I think just turned 10. And I'm like, all right, Finley, you're the man. You got this. I'm going to get out and I'm going to push. And you're going to gun this. You're going to gun it. Like, oh, running out of time on the pod. But okay, long story short, I push the car. Finn drive. And I was wedging in like those kind of like sandstone, skinny, longer rocks. And they were breaking because of the weight of the car. We got it here, dude.
You got it. And he pulled it out of there?
He pulled it out, dude.
Oh my
God. I know the windows down. I was like, Finn, kill it, kill it, kill it. You know what I mean? Like, perfect timing. It was great. And I just like back to our conversations, like get the chains, get prepared, but stay loose. Just in like you might have to get sandstones in a 10-year-old to drive you out of some dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But also avoiding the situations is good too.
That's best we can.
as best we can. Sometimes you have to go through the shit to get to the beautiful spots, though.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta dig through a lot of shit to get to the diamond, you know?
Absolutely. Hey, well, I like that.
Tell me about your background here, dude. What are your thoughts on this fluorescent flower?
You're not recognize that?
Oh, yeah, I know the art. I was kind of throwing the ball your way.
Oh yeah, it's just Van Gogh's irises. I think it's like number 3 or number. I can't remember which one it is.
Do you know this one though? Wait for it. Wait for it.
Oh, nice. Grandma June.
Is it in there? So I have 2 of these. One of them's yours. I'll send it next package. They
Oh,
are
nice.
4XLs because at some point I was like, it costs the same as a medium, dude. And I get that much more shirt. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah. Well, what are you and your dad doing tonight?
You know, this and that.
Grilling up, hanging out.
I gotta tell you, the biggest part of my day so far was taking the case off of my iPhone and going raw dogging all day. Like skinny little phone sliding in the. I was like, oh, it slides in nice. You know what I mean? It's also streamlined with that.
Yeah, I do like that.
You
I
pull
do.
a no case day with the phone.
Oh yeah, no case with just the screen cover. It's pretty good. I have the 13 and it's heavy duty and it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about all this new bullshit.
Yeah, it's just all they're just making more money, dude.
No case.
No case. I like it. How much time do we have left?